Ukraine's president says the main problem facing the peace talks in Geneva is Vladimir Putin's demand for legal recognition of the territory he has stolen. Volodymyr Zelenskyy making the remarks as Washington and Kyiv press on with negotiations to end the war, after agreeing to modify an earlier proposal.
Of course, we all continue working with partners, especially the United States, and look for compromises that strengthen but not weaken us. And we will continue explaining how dangerous it is to pretend that aggression is something one can simply overlook and move on.
The US and Ukraine have hailed yesterday's meeting a significant step forward, saying discussions were extensive and productive. The two sides reiterating that any eventual peace deal must fully uphold Ukraine's sovereignty. Kyiv has until Thursday to approve the US proposed 28-point plan. EU leaders also welcomed progress in talks as officials meet on the sidelines of a summit in southern Africa. Kyiv's allies previously criticized the US-backed proposal as favoring Russia and warned that major issues remain to be resolved. But the Kremlin says it has yet to receive any official information regarding an updated peace plan, though it is aware that some adjustments have been made. And for more on this, Ross Cullen is covering this story for CNA Live from Geneva. Now, Ross, this is not the first time that either Russia or Ukraine have accused the other of blocking efforts to achieve peace. How will the US mediate this, and could we also expect further modifications?
Well, there's certainly been a lot of positive mood music this time coming out of the United States. Marco Rubio saying again and again and again to reporters here during his two mini press briefings on Sunday just how positive his meetings with the Ukrainian delegation were, just how constructive he felt the conversations were, and just how productive he thinks that the outcomes are going to be. Certainly, we are seeing him taking the lead, the US Secretary of State this time, rather than the US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, who was here but is taking more of a back seat. Certainly, Marco Rubio seems relaxed about that deadline that President Trump had initially put in place of there must be a peace deal signed by Ukraine this Thursday, the 27th of November. Marco Rubio is saying it might be before that, it might be next week. Certainly, once the United States and Ukraine have finished their discussions, which are continuing outside Geneva now. Both Marco Rubio has headed back to the United States, but the conversations are going to continue at a technical level to try to agree on a peace plan which is perhaps more favourable to Ukraine. Then Washington and Kyiv will send that to Russia, and then we'll have to see if there are any modifications that Russia would like to make to that peace plan, if it can sign up to it, if it's agreed, and then we could after that see a Zelensky-Trump summit at the White House, but of course we've had that in the past, and we know just how sometimes just how conflagratory those press conferences can be between Volodymyr Zelenskyy and Donald Trump when they do get together. However, Volodymyr Zelenskyy has been keen to remind Donald Trump remind him often just how grateful Ukraine is for all the support the United States has been giving, months and months of gratitude. He says he's been giving. Donald Trump, though, does seem to be saying that he has felt he's got zero gratitude from the United States, from Ukraine for the United States' help. And he's also said on Truth Social this Monday that there could be something good in the offing. There might be something that could be good for the United States and Ukraine to be announced. So we are waiting now to see if there is going to be a full publication of the new 28-point peace plan coming out of those Washington-Kyiv talks. And we'll have to see if it is more favourable to Ukraine than the last document, which many people felt leaned more heavily towards Russia's talking points.
And meanwhile, Ross, what sort of role are the European officials playing then, given they've also been discussing the matter at length?
Well, there were European national security advisors here on Sunday, Angela, speaking to the Ukrainian delegation. The eyes on Monday will be on European leaders, the chancellors, presidents and prime ministers who are holding an EU summit. Some of them will be there in person in Angola, where they're having that summit on the sidelines of another European Union, African Union gathering that was already scheduled. Some of the leaders will be joining online, but they will all be trying to come together to assess the last 24, 36 hours of talks here in the Swiss city of Geneva, to see if the European proposals have had any weight, if they can get any of their messaging through, just how much they support Ukraine, just how much they were upset at the previous document that was circulated earlier in the week, which seemed to contain so many Russian talking points that Marco Rubio had to explicitly say this was not written by Russia. This was indeed written by the United States, but he also did say that it was a document that was living and breathing, able to be changed, able to be edited, and open to have inclusion and insertion of European and Ukrainian talking points.
Ross, thank you for the update. That was Ross Cullen reporting live from Geneva for CNN.